Ethiopia, a giant of history and culture with over 120 million people, stands as a powerhouse in the Horn of Africa. Yet, it carries a deep, invisible wound, the loss of its coastline. Like a person feeling a limb that is no longer there, Ethiopia aches for the sea it can no longer reach. This absence shapes the nation's destiny, fueling a daily struggle against the tyranny of geography. Every shipment, medicine, fertilizer, machinery, must cross foreign lands, making trade expensive and uncertain. Ethiopia's economic pulse is tied to the goodwill of its neighbors, a precarious position for any sovereign state. The dream of regaining sea access is a national obsession, a yearning to be master of its own fate. Ethiopia is the most populous landlocked country on Earth, and this single fact dictates its foreign policy and economic strategy. The quest for the sea unites and divides, driving ambition and risking conflict. The coastline is tantalizingly close, a thin strip of land separating Ethiopia from the global marketplace. The story of Ethiopia's lost access is one of resilience, adaptation, and the high stakes of geography. For centuries, Ethiopia's fortunes were tied to the Red Sea. The ancient Aksumite Empire controlled coastal ports like Adulis, connecting Ethiopia to Rome, India, and beyond. The sea brought wealth, power, and cultural exchange, a golden age still remembered today. But over time, foreign powers seized the coast, and by the late 19th century, Italy's colony of Eritrea cut Ethiopia off from the sea. Briefly, after World War II, Ethiopia regained its coastline through federation with Eritrea, with ports like Massawa and Assab bustling with trade. Everything changed in 1993 when Eritrea's independence left Ethiopia landlocked overnight. Initially, Ethiopia used Eritrean ports, but this fragile arrangement collapsed with the 1998 border war. The port of Assab became a ghost town, and the border turned hostile. Ethiopia was forced to reroute its entire trade through Djibouti, marking the start of its modern landlocked era. Dependency, higher costs, and a persistent quest to reclaim the coast have defined Ethiopia ever since. The memory of lost access lingers, shaping national identity and ambition. The loss of the sea is not just history, it's a living challenge. Without its own ports, Ethiopia's economy breathes through a narrow straw. Nearly all imports and exports now pass through Djibouti, creating a single point of failure. Ethiopia pays over $1 billion annually in port fees, money that could transform its own economy. Delays, bottlenecks, and disruptions at Djibouti can halt the flow of goods, crippling businesses and threatening food security. High transport costs make Ethiopian exports less competitive, stifling industrial growth and job creation. The dream of becoming Africa's factory is hampered by the lack of a direct gateway to the world. Everyday life is more expensive. Fuel, food, and medicine all cost more. Infrastructure projects are pricier, and government resources are stretched thin. This economic suffocation is a hidden tax on every citizen. Unless Ethiopia finds a better solution, its growth will remain constrained by geography. The lack of sea access is a profound strategic weakness for Ethiopia. Its foreign policy is shaped by dependency on neighbors, especially Djibouti, which holds leverage over Ethiopia's trade. Any political disagreement risks economic disruption. Ethiopia has no navy, no way to protect its interests in the Red Sea, and must rely on others for maritime security. This vulnerability invites foreign influence, as global powers invest in neighboring ports to gain leverage. Ethiopia's quest for sea access becomes a pawn in regional rivalries. The government constantly seeks alternative routes through Somaliland, Kenya, or Sudan, but each comes with its own challenges. The search for a secure route to the sea dominates foreign relations and consumes diplomatic energy. Ethiopia remains a regional giant, but one held hostage by its geography. For ordinary Ethiopians, being landlocked means higher prices for essentials, rice, oil, spare parts. This landlocked tax makes daily life a struggle, especially for the poor. The pressure to secure sea access fuels nationalism and internal tensions, sometimes leading to dangerous brinkmanship. Border communities live with uncertainty. Skirmishes, trade disruptions, and displacement are real risks. Trade corridors concentrate development, leaving remote regions behind and deepening internal divides. The lack of a coastline limits job opportunities, industries like shipping and fisheries are out of reach. Young Ethiopians face a narrower future, their ambitions constrained by geography. The struggle for sea access shapes power, wealth, and opportunity within Ethiopia. The human cost is measured in lost potential and daily hardship. If Ethiopia remains landlocked, this silent crisis will only grow. Ethiopia isn't standing still, it's forging new paths to adapt. Diversification is key. Ethiopia is investing in alternative trade corridors like the partnership with Somaliland to develop the port of Berbera. This creates competition, reduces dependence on Djibouti, and could lower costs. Regional integration is another strategy. Projects like the Lapset corridor aim to connect Ethiopia to Kenya's Lamu port, binding regional economies together. Ethiopia is also investing in dry ports and logistics technology to speed up customs and reduce delays. These solutions optimize trade, even if the starting point is still in another country. But each path has risks, diplomatic friction, security challenges, and funding hurdles. The Berbera deal angered Somalia. Lapset faces instability. These are adaptive strategies, not permanent fixes. Ethiopia's resilience lies in its ability to innovate and navigate a complex region. Ethiopia's landlocked status is a powerful lesson in how geography shapes destiny. If it never regains sea access, the nation will face constant adaptation and compromise. Economic and political challenges will persist, with higher costs and strategic vulnerability. Yet, this adversity could foster resilience, innovation, and a unique national identity. Ethiopia's struggle will influence the entire Horn of Africa. Will the region compete or cooperate? The answer will shape the future for millions. The lost horizon of the sea will remain a defining challenge. Ethiopia's journey is far from over. It's a story of survival, ambition,